went to Arizona State.
Right.
I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call, too. Blaine Baker, Plummer will put it up, throws over the middle. Touchdown. Great flag.
That's a way. Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down, he scored.
Come from behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia, they won't get him. Wow.
Edwards pulls up and buries a flag.
Shot for Darby.
And welcome into Pitchfork Launch. Yes, I am Michael Caratenuto at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter Season 2, Episode 1. What is up, my Pitchfork Launchers, as we get rolling? And, man, anything going on? Anything going on? I mean, wow. Hope everybody had a good summer. School started, obviously, Thursday. Last Thursday was the first day of classes. Sorry. Must adjust. Okay. Sorry. Apologies. Getting used to the studio. Anywho, yes, Thursday was the first day of classes and my Pitchfork Launchers. Obviously, sports have gotten rolling. Women's soccer, 2-0-2. Big win at LSU. Went to Baton Rouge, got a nice win, a 5-2 win. For head coach Graham Winkworth, leading the charge back up. Some new faces on the team. Some obviously quite a few some returners. Yes, this is very nice to have. Some new faces on the team too. So we will, that we'll get to that. And you saw the brand new opening. Huge ups to broadcast extraordinaire David Heil. Obviously, big shout out to Jeff Lowry because a lot of that too was from Jeff Lowry. But big ups, big shout out to a nice guy, David Heil, helping a kid out with the awesomeness of Pitchfork Lunch, as you guys all know. But again, at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter Z Show, live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. Also working on some new avenues, and we'll get to that. But my IG, Michael.Caratenuto.5. And yes, live on my YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. All the shows from the first season are there. If you missed it, you missed a plethora of phenomenal interviews, getting to know coaches, players, obviously programs at ASU. So go to my YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005. At MVC005 on YouTube. Guys, subscribe away. That's all I can say. Subscribe away. Gonna have an awesome show today. We are kicking season 2, episode 1 off with a sit down that I got to have, and yes, you'll see because I'm wearing different clothes, but with new athletic director Graham Rossini, Sun Devil alum, a man that's accomplished a lot. Yes, I know a lot of you Sun Devil fans saw that, and it happened during the Pac-12 tournament. I'm still doing my show, and we talked about his background obviously being a Sun Devil alum, working within Major League Baseball with the Diamondbacks, but also having been back at ASU working to help secure partnerships. Now he's tasked with the growth and the moving forward the athletic department and all the sports teams. So we get to sit down, or I got to sit down with Coach, which was absolutely awesome. Well, I say coach, but an athletic director is coaches of coaches, right? So no, but yeah, it was so awesome. We were at Pac-12 Media Days. I will have some stuff from that as well too as we get into this game week for football, week 1, volleyball. I'll get to that in a second. But I got to sit down with Graham Winkworth at Pac-12 Media Days, and it was just awesome. Again, seen him out at events, getting to talk to him up at Camp Tonazona. His family's involved, and I mean, look, when you take over as a new head coach, new athletic director, it is literally full speed ahead, right? Because you're taking over because things weren't going the way they should, right? We all understand that. That being said, again, he is an alum. He is immersed, and it is very, very awesome. So do not go anywhere. I will have that coming up. But yes, Sun Devil Athletic Director Graham Winkworth. Again, I'll remind you before I start it. That is, it was from Pac-12 Media Days, football media days in Las Vegas. And yeah, a pitchfork lunch, forks up. We were in the house, so you know this. So yes, that is the awesome part. That is the awesome part. So yes, we get to first show, bam, the man at the top. And the man, but the department, and we'll talk about that, what it takes, but just awesome conversation I had with him. And I was going to air it around then, but I mean, look, everybody's on summer break, hadn't been doing a show. I thought, you know what? Let's get it together. When we kick off that first Monday after classes start on Thursday, when I kick off, bam, Graham Rossini. So very, very stoked to have Graham on. And yeah, I mentioned obviously sports underway. Football, it is game week, baby. Wyoming, Kenny Dillingham and his staff, second year. Man, you've seen my tweets at Diablo00. Shout out to all who have shared. I'll get to that. But seeing the tweets from out at fall camp, the funnest 3 days were, well, I got to say the best weather 3 days wise was up at Camp Tonazona. So that was absolutely awesome. What was I going to say? Yeah, so Camp Tonazona, obviously with football, they went an extra day this year. We'll see stuff from there. Tomorrow, I will have we'll have a sit down. You'll see my sit down with linebackers coach, and we've talked to him before. You've seen him on the show, obviously interviewed him before, but a nice sit down that we had at Camp Tonazona. AJ Cooper, who was with Brian Ward at Washington State, a Glendale Community College alum, which funny story, but we'll save that for tomorrow. That's a tease about him playing at GCC. Not that it's not funny that he played there, but anyway, I digress. So we'll have that coming up tomorrow. We'll also have defensive backs coach Brian Carrington, who, man, I mean, just started out again as a young coach, a recruiter, but man, this guy, an understanding talent. We will have. He'll be on the show on Wednesday. So Brian Carrington, yes, he will be on the show live on Wednesday as his team gets ready to play Wyoming, but just more so talking about his road and working with, these guys in this secondary. Very excited. Very, very excited. Look, this time of year, like I always say, and even in spring ball, hope springs eternal, right? Because I'll tell you what, being out of practice, pitchfork lunchers, only missing one fall practice, but nonetheless, being out at practice every day and just seeing the growth from the end of spring ball, from the guys that came early, the returners, guys that are obviously now back on the field, like a Xavier Alford defensively, or 100-yard landlord on X. But still, nonetheless, you look at this secondary, and man, I mean, Coach said it, and I'll play a lot of Coach's sound, and I put some up, a lot of people saw, but I'll play Coach's sound throughout the week from the beginning of, fall camp to, development, how he, sounded at the end of fall camp, and we'll hear from players as well. But man, it is exciting. And Brian Ward, obviously the second year in the defense, you look at, the defensive line up front, they added depth on that side, and the offensive line, knock on wood, again, at the mass unit last year, it was absolutely just brutal. No other way to say it. It was brutal. As all of us, as all Sun Devil fans know, it was absolutely brutal. But the depth and Coach Tuitele, Saga Tuitele being back, man, it's just, like I said, it's exciting. There's work to do, but man. And as we know from last week too, Sam Levitt won the battle for the starting quarterback position. The redshirt freshman transfer from Michigan State, Jeff Sims, had transferred in from Nebraska, and he had gotten here in the summer after spring ball. And Trenton Bourget, again, his sixth fall camp, as he said, and we'll hear from him a little bit later in the week as well. But look, just excited in the second year, the depth they've added. Look, the running back room, we'll get to all of it. We will get to all of it. Believe me, football-wise. Volleyball-wise, awesome transfers for reigning. Well, I know we're in the Big 12. Hey, first season in the Big 12. Again, I let it all go at the end of, well, I don't know if I've truly let it all go, Pitchfork Lunchers. You know that. You heard me all last season. That being said, first season in the Big 12, we'll see some stuff. The volleyball team had their maroon and gold scrimmage this last weekend as well. And if I can get to that after Graham Rossini, we'll hear from Coach Van Neal, and awesome friend of the program, just phenomenal, had a phenomenal season last year and just got stronger and stronger as the season went on, as did the team, obviously going to the Sweet 16 last year, but their last season. But Jelly Sear, a team that had a hell of an offseason too, a very awesome offseason. They got to go to Brazil as a team, played again, they went at like the end of May, so after the semester ended, and again, got to play some volleyball, but definitely got to take in the sights. And our very first volleyball player interview, Roberta Rebelo, who is from Brazil, as we know. So they had a tour guide, as I was told, but they also leaned on her a lot as well. So, but yeah, volleyball team looking good. Argentina Ung, the setter from Washington State, transferred in, is one of the transfer portal players, one of the new faces on the team, and a freshman, Piper Rama. Yeah, Valley people, you might remember her. Played her high school volleyball at O'Connor High School, so a local kid. And yeah, she had a heck of a maroon and gold scrimmage, but the team, again, looking good. Yeah, it looks different without Shannon Shields and Marta Levinska. Shannon Shields, the setter, Marta Levinska, obviously on the outside, what she did the last season, but even the last two seasons, just hitting at the pin. And man, but again, the talent is there. Claire Jeter is back. Mary Schroll is back as well, as at the libero position. Argentina Ung again coming in as a setter again. We'll get to all that, but same thing, like I said, for that I just said for Coach Van Neal in volleyball, Coach Winkworth and soccer. Yes, there are some new faces. And yes, the team still has its international flavor. But yeah, coming off a 5-2 win over LSU. So again, we will get to obviously football, volleyball, women's soccer. And yes, as the seasons go on and get closer, obviously all sports, you know it, you will see it here. You saw it in the open, regular volleyball or indoor regular volleyball. Hello. Sound like I go to that school down south. Oh, anyway. But yeah, indoor volleyball, beach volleyball, you saw it. Obviously, the run they had last year going to the tournament under, first-year head coach, again, at ASU, Kristen Rohr, but again, very, very talented coach. Baseball, softball, Willie Bloomquist, again, Jacob Tobias, he's back. Found that out at football practice yesterday, or last week. Coach Bloomquist stopped by football practice with some of his new coaches. We'll get to that as well, too. Again, so much coming up. You hear how excited I am, but going to go to break. When we get back, you're going to see the sit down with Sun Devil Athletic Director Graham Rossini from, yes, Pac-12 or Big 12 Media Days in Las Vegas. As again, football programs were all there, and it was a fun 2 days, and I got to catch up with Graham Rossini. So more coming up here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Carasino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as Twitter. Check the show live out there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. And also my IG, michael.carasino.5, and the YouTube channel. Guys, check it out live on YouTube. If you're unable to check it out live, guess what? If you're unable to check it out live, go to YouTube, subscribe to my channel, and then catch up on all the shows. Also working on some stuff as well. And you possibly could be hearing Pitchfork Lunch elsewhere. Just a little tease for my Sun Devil Nation fans and Pitchfork Lunchers. But yeah, so Graham Rossini, got to sit down with him at Big 12 Media Days. Like I said, ASU's new athletic director. He's not just, by the way, I said alum. He's a two-time Sun Devil alum. Yes, a two-time alum. But yeah, two-time Sun Devil alum, Graham Rossini. And I mean, just again, he joined Sun Devil Athletics back in March of 2021 as a senior associate athletics director, and was promoted in the fall of 23 to executive senior associate athletic director and chief business officer. Like I said, ASU alum and veteran, for those of you that missed it the first time when we did it in season 1, of over 20 years in sports business at the MLB and Power 5 level, serving as a member of President Michael Crow's University Council, University Management Team, and the athletic department's senior leadership team. He was charged with the growth of Sun Devil Athletics external departments as ASU continues to activate the Valley by driving new ticket sales, corporate partnerships, philanthropic contributions, and an increased focus on NIL, fan experience, and letter winner outreach. So, yes, and he was also hugely a part of, he led the athletic department's efforts to secure the 15-year naming rights partnership of Mountain America Stadium and a 10-year extension to the naming rights of Desert Financial Arena. He also oversees the relationship with Adidas that ASU has, and is the liaison to the Valley's professional teams. Well, at the time, including the Coyotes, who, of course, are now in the Utah hockey team, as we all know. So, yes, just a little bit of background. His wife is also a Sun Devil alum, but we'll get into that in the interview. So, without further ado, from Big 12 Media Days in Vegas in football last month, yeah, I can still say that, last month in July, here is Athletic Director Graham Rossini. All right, back here on a special edition of Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, you know me. I'm Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on the X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, and now joining me, a Sun Devil alum. So yeah, you guys know it's a Homer show, yes, but having a fellow Sun Devil alum that is now our athletic director. Yeah. Congratulations, obviously, on that. I know, obviously, like I said to Coach Iguano last year and Coach Dillingham, nobody becomes an interim coach because things are going good. And obviously, Coach Iguano's on staff. Things are going rough, like I told you before. Obviously, I know we talked about it. Not everything is rainbows and unicorns, but right. You're an ASU alum. Yep. Obviously, it's awesome. I mean, to get the job and stuff you've done, we'll talk about that. But to be an athletic director, but just to come back to ASU and now get to be the athletic director of where you graduated from, what does it mean to you and your family?
It's really personal. It's really an honor and a privilege, and that keeps me up at night because I want to be really good at this job. I want to be great for all Sun Devil fans. I've gained so much from ASU in my life, and I'm at a point in my career I want to get that back, and I want to be something that all Sun Devils are proud of because we're connecting to other Sun Devils through the work that we do here in athletics. But ultimately, just proud and grateful, and maybe still hasn't quite set in that this is reality, but we're in it, and I couldn't be more excited. Now,
I mean, what Coach Bloomquist has said, he knows you're a baseball guy, but now you're athletic director, all sports, but obviously there's 8 coaches throughout the athletic department that are alum. I mean, like you just said, to come back, obviously it's awesome, but to have a guy like Willie, who it meant so much to you, and when you hear him talk, and obviously it's baseball season, again, Rocky, not going the way he expected it would go or wanted it to go, but from him, you're always going to get competition. But when you're talking now, like you said, you have a passion for baseball, you love baseball, but like you just said, now being in charge of all the sports, getting to know all the coaches. Obviously, it takes time, but what's the fun in that, Graham? But what's the challenge in that?
Oh, I think it's all fun and it's all opportunity. And we've got 26 sports. We want all 26 to compete at the highest level. And realistically, the cost of doing business is changing in college sports, and that's the world that we live in. But there, to me, is a clear pathway where, as we keep building success behind Coach Dillingham in football, Coach Hurley, Coach Adair in men's and women's basketball, Coach Bloomquist, Coach Bartlett, baseball, softball, and then even look at what's going on with our volleyball program, Coach Van Neal, Coach Powers in hockey. We've got a lot of sports that can sell out stadiums and arenas. That's really important for us to focus on, of how do we create a great game day, a great fan experience, packs our stadiums and arenas, brings in resources that we're reinvesting for all 26 sports. That's a really, really important opportunity for us to take advantage of. And the greatest joy I get is talking to recruits, being involved in our coaching staffs and their ability to bring families into the circle and help them understand that all 26 matter. We want to resource all 26 at the high level by focusing on those that can sell out stadiums and arenas. But that's a wonderful thing to be a part of.
Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned Coach Van Neal. I teased him all last year. I gave him props because he was the first coach to come on Pitchfork Lunch.
Oh, nice.
So that was a very cool thing. But I teased him because I talked to him twice, had him on twice actually throughout the season. But I said, he ends up getting Pac-12 Coach of the Year. I know you know that, but
Yep.
I was teasing him. I said, it was 99.9% his, obviously his coaching ability and the players' talent, the phenomenal season they had. I said, but it was competitive in the Pac-12, so it was like the 0.1%
Right.
boost that he got from Pitchfork Lunch that made him Pac-12 Coach
I like
of the Year.
it. All right, this bodes well for the fall.
He said he gives me more credit. I was just kidding around, but no, like you said, with Coach Rohr, coming over from Grand Canyon, they go to the beach volleyball. She wins Pac-12 Coach of the Year. I said it on the show a few times. Viewers have said
a volleyball school.
I was like, whatever's in the water, what Coach Van Neal and Coach Rohr brought over, come play volleyball at ASU.
Absolutely,
should do it anyway. And you talk about. So I always say, a lot of people say, I think coaches would make great ADs, and some coaches might, but like you said, focusing on, you have 26 sports, but you have to focus on a lot. Actually, this is what I want to ask you first. What is the insane, because I got to think, obviously that many sports, and I know the calendar splits it up, but just the challenge in putting the schedules together. Because obviously as athletic directors, you guys are getting together and, within the conference, and we're here, like I said, a Big 12 Media Day,
right.
Like you said, but what's also the fun part about that, but the biggest challenge in putting these schedules together for all sports?
Yeah, I think the little details really matter in a conversation where it's, there's a scheduling coordination. We've got, so many venues. Many of them have multiple sports competing inside of them. There's other university activities happen in a lot of our spaces as well. So yeah, just being planful, mindful, getting information, being very organized throughout the athletic department on how do we make this work. We're very motivated for home games, all of our sports. I think there's no better way to create a sense of community when people in Phoenix and the Valley can come on campus and watch us compete. And so we're all equal, looking to find as many home games as we can throughout the conference, and then really working with the Big 12 on our conference scheduling throughout the academic year. But the beauty of 26 in mind is wherever you're from and whatever you're into, we probably had it. And if you're from the East Coast and love lacrosse, you're from Southern California and you're all in on beach volleyball, we've got it. And then as we start cross-promoting our sports and marketing all of our sports throughout the year, there are great opportunities to create awareness of, hey, Mullet Arena is an incredible experience, or what's going on in Desert Financial Arena in basketball is going to be off the charts, getting people into Mountain American Stadium to watch Sun Devil football. There's all these great moments for us to market and promote all of our sports year round. And that's from August, we get going with soccer and football and volleyball, all the way to spring when baseball, softball, track and field are winding down.
Well, I'm glad. Okay, you mentioned Mullet Arena, and yes, growing up, originally being from Jersey, I love hockey. And the fact when, I remember going, and I know, you probably do too. We're not old. We're very experienced, and we're Sun Devil alum. But I remember being a club hockey team, but just the fact when it went D1, talk about. And I know it's big because last year, yes, like I told you a million times, this is a homer show with their record, how they played, how they looked all season. I felt that they were a postseason team, not being in the conference. Yes. And Coach Powers was a realist about that, but I think he had to be a realist unfairly because, again, you play who's in front of you. And some of the teams they split with were nationally ranked all year long. And I'm like, 24 wins either way. But Mullet Arena and hockey, like you talk about, first few years were tough at Oceanside. When you see Mullet Arena and just for hockey and even for volleyball, because Coach Van Neal, I know, was stoked to play there, but just the hockey side of it, to get Sun Devil, like you said, get them out there. Like what and Coach Powers, again, being an alum, coach in the club team, and they had such great success. But in your time talking to him, like what's he said to you and just your kind of thoughts of Mullet Arena? Because obviously everybody here knows I love it.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal barn to watch college hockey, and I give a lot of credit to Coach Powers. He represented this program, was a goaltender on the club team, put his blood, sweat, and tears into life. He gets a chance to coach as an assistant, then over the program, wins the national championship. And ironically, this fall will be the 10-year anniversary of our announcement that we're moving into D1 happens to coincide with us joining in my opinion, the best hockey conference in America, the NCHC. And so it's starting to be these goals and these visions that have been realized over time, where now we are in the best bar in America. We are in the greatest hockey conference in the country. We're prepared for it at the same time. Coming off a record win season, like you mentioned last year, beating a lot of these teams that we know are the elites of college hockey that are now in our conference. It's going to be wildly competitive. It's everything you could ask for. It's a great fan experience. It's an exciting program. It's a program on the rise. It's a great way to introduce ASU to new people in the Valley. And in a moment where we no longer have NHL, hopefully that's very short-lived in the Valley, it puts a lot more attention on Sun Devil hockey. And how do we, to coaches' credit, get out involved in the community, have camps and clinics, get really focused on grassroots hockey, getting kids exposed to the sport and understanding, hey, you can come and be in our Mountain America Community Iceplex and learn how to skate, learn how to play, get a chance to compete all over the Valley, and then at some point come and enjoy watching Sun Devil hockey at Mull Arena at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, hockey in the desert is fun because when the Coyotes people like it doesn't work, and I'm like, and as you know, I mean, you heard it going to school here, but growing up, like nobody's from here anyway. Everybody's got like their team, and they might root for a local team, but when their team comes in, as we know, they'll root for them. But hockey does work in the desert, and like I said, like you said, I mean, it's been a minute when Austin Matthews goes number one. Yeah. I mean, he grew up here and played here. So
Josh Stone,
yeah,
the Chuck brothers, on and on.
The fact that he got the first goal,
it's amazing.
And Josh Stone,
couldn't be better.
All right, we got to get to other things. I know he's here. We're going to get to other things in hockey, but believe me, they know I love hockey. When you look at, so from the administrative side, it's cool, but I mean, I got to think your family, kids, everything. I mean, it's got you can spend days, like you said, going from water polo to softball to finishing the day at baseball. I mean, I know the administrative stuff, and you're there. Yes, we know. We'll get to that in a second. Obviously, raising money, but I mean, you want to get that stuff done early because I got to think it's like, hey guys, let's go check out everything.
I mean, I'm lucky. My wife played volleyball at ASU. She's a Sun Devil as well. We've got 2 kids. They're sports crazed out the gate. Our 5-year-old son can't get enough of any sport. We got a great book when he was just born called Protectors of the A. And so out the womb, he's been a diehard Sun Devil fan even before I came back to ASU. So it's a blast for our family, and we get a chance to connect into things that we enjoy, but at the same time, we're representing something that's very personal and important to our family. And I can't think of anything better to do spending our time as a family or professionally. Yeah,
100%. And so I mean, I mentioned baseball. Obviously, you work for the Diamondbacks, and people saw, I mean, the release, your background. I mean, professional sports is obviously different than college. Yes, the funding and the money is there, but the money you raise for the D-backs, or the partnerships, I shouldn't say raise, the partnerships you got and D-backs. And I mean, I know you were in on the Mountain America, naming rights deal, which again, and I've apologized a million times to Mountain America, Graham, because I always say, I mean, I grew up Sun Devil, it's hard just to forget it's like Sun Devil Stadium, but it is Mountain America Stadium. But being in on that and with the way, again, college sports is changing, but just I guess in this day and age when everybody's fighting for the dollars and college sports are so huge, yes, local companies are huge,
right?
But it's still a national thing. Like you said, coaches are talking about, you're talking about recruiting. It's a national thing. What's the challenge for you and your staff in that to get, yes, the sponsorships that everybody has, but just kind of going, yes, local, because it is activate the Valley, man. Coach Dillingham said, but then at the national level as well.
Well, everything we do, whether we're building business relationships, whether we're recruiting student athletes, the fact that we are in Phoenix, this amazing market, this incredible community, 5th largest city in America, this extended metropolitan area, and then you've got Tempe, where a lot of our sports teams compete. To me, it's the best of both worlds. If you want college town atmosphere in the classical setting, we have it. We're becoming an urban campus with a lot of development around what we're doing in Tempe, but it still has that college town feel that's unique to what we're doing in Tempe. But then you're nestled amongst this dynamic, incredible metropolitan area. And so that means we have access to everything, in my opinion. We have local businesses, mom and pop startups, spirit of entrepreneurship all around us. And then we have the powerhouse companies that want to be in Phoenix because they believe in, the economic climate, the access to talent. It's a great place for the families to live, all those reasons. And so that gives us every conversation starter you could ask for in terms of how do we connect with a company, a product, a service, find a way to bring them into the conversation. I mean, ASU at the end of the day is a talent development organization.
Absolutely.
Above everything that we do, how do we produce quality human beings into the workforce, into society, all those things. And there's no better megaphone for the work that's happening at ASU than through athletics. So that gives us, to me, a wonderful opportunity to take advantage of this incredible market that we live and we operate in, and find different opportunities to plug companies into the conversation. Moving forward with how NIL is progressing, it's really important to be at a major university in a major metropolitan area. I'm a big believer in that. And how do we use NIL as a connection point where companies get the benefit of a student athlete, high profile student athlete in many cases, promoting their product, their service, their company, new to the market, long time and established brands, everything in between. And in return, these young people get not only the finances related to the deal of an NIL contract, but they're getting a professional network. They're getting resume experience. They're getting some training. So when their playing days are over, hopefully long after professional careers or Olympic careers, whatever the case may be, Mother Nature's undefeated for all of us. And when they do need to get a job, to be well-educated with an ASU degree, a student athlete with some great attributes of communication, accountability, discipline, all these things, but then have a resume experience because NIL and the corporate network around ASU in the Valley has been able to contribute into that. I think that's the best of all scenarios, and we're unique in having that at ASU.
I 1,000,000% echo that, being a Cronkite school grad and alum. Of course, putting great people. Oh, no, my friends are going to give me a hard time. But yes, no. Okay, so you hit on NIL, and I've had this conversation with, different coaches that I've had on, and, people from every side. And people will ask me in the older generation, and when I say this, because I do preempt it all the time, saying they're not the curmudgeons like Matt, that, there's NIL now. But from a standpoint, like I said, you come from professional sports, whole different mindset. Obviously, you can get paid a ton of money, as we all know. But when I get they're getting a free education, which okay. And if you're going to some of the, and even now, I mean, in this day and age, I mean, before, you're like, as you know, you came to ASU from out of state, if you finished in 4 years, which again, a lot of people aren't going to, but say you finish in 5 years, I mean, you spend up near $115,000, $120,000. Well, I get the question all the time because we're like, oh, sports guy, you're on the side of the athletes. They're like, if you can't take, how is getting a $200,000 education not being paid? And I said, it is, but here's what you're not asking. When you turn something into a not million, not a couple $100,000 a year, a multi-billion-dollar business. I said, yes. I go, and I'm not leaving out Title IX sports, as I know you're not. But when you turn the whole industry into a multi-billion-dollar sport, yeah, the coaches can get paid money. Without coaches, I go, players might be good. We all know there haven't been a lot of player coaches throughout history. Right. I said, when you turn it into a multi-billion-dollar business, it's hard not to have, and most of them aren't calling this generation entitled. People say, oh, they're entitled. The people I talk to are very well educated, most of them ASU grads. But that being said, it's kind of the end thing. Well, you're getting a $200,000 education and you have access to tutors, which they should have. Obviously, rehab, knock on wood, injury, surgery should all be covered. They're playing a sport. Right. Nobody disagrees with that. But when people come to me and say, how are the challenge for athletic directors and coaches now with NIL, but you're going to these schools and you're getting a $200,000 education, you get to leave college with this much debt. You and I know how awesome it is, great to leave that. Yep. But turning it into a multi-billion-dollar sport, how can anybody in any sport, I don't care, like you said, if it's swimming, water polo, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, how can you not say, okay, this is still off our backs?
Yeah. Well, the commissioner said this earlier today, that there's never been a better time to be a student athlete. And they've got rights that have been negotiated or provided to them, and they're able to take advantage of their name, image, likeness, no different than you or I can, or any student for that matter can. And there's these limitations that have existed over time because they were an NCAA athlete that now have evolved. And so that's the reality that we're living in. And so being mindful of how do they use this as a tool, where we're focused on at ASU is they are students before they're student athletes. And so the investment that the university is making into our space reflects that. They have scholarships, they have medical needs, they've got nutritional needs, they've got facilities that they need to compete in no differently than a Cronkite student needs, access to studio space and cameras and equipment.
And real quick, I'm jealous because when I graduated, we had awesome stuff, but the downtown campus, go on. But the downtown campus, phenomenal.
But the point being is that, just because they're athletes doesn't mean that they're not students as well. And so the investment that you can put into a student before they're athletes is kind of how we're designing this at ASU. And so we want to be mindful of resources that allow us to put them in a position to succeed academically. And at the same time, through athletically created revenues, invest in their athletic journey. How do we hire and retain the best coaches in America? How do we focus on sports science? How do we travel effectively that focuses on performance and recovery? How do we find that competitive separator that helps a sport go from good to great? That's what we can use our athletically related revenues in. So yes, the industry is changing. It creates a different way to approach the model, but we're very mindful of providing the students with the access to the opportunities and the rights that they're now afforded and available to utilize, but not losing sight of their students. And we're still focused on education. We're still focused on developing young people through the work that we do at Sun Devil Athletics.
Yeah, because I ran track through my freshman year, but I just remember being out with some people or other, friends that I knew that played different sports, seeing somebody like, oh, hey, let me get you this. And they're like, no, you can't. And I'm like, okay, we're in the hall, eat like, what am I going to, again, don't,
times have changed.
And and like I said, and as an administrator, and I'm not, people have said it, and I heard it so much, from the late 90s on, is that the NCAA was just reactive, not proactive. And yes, their job is not easy. 1,000% have said that. But just the little things, stipends like with scholarships, stuff with food for it all, again, like I said, it seems logical and it makes sense. Now it makes your guys' job. Like I said, it makes it a little different, but you said times are changing and it makes it fun. I would think to an extent, because DeCarlos Brooks, I had him on before he did his haircut thing, the second year of that. And it's an NIL thing. And Doug Tamaro said the thing out, but it's great because it's a charity event. It's still NIL, but it's a charity event. And he's out there cutting kids' hair. Are going to be so stoked that they're, they get to meet up maybe some of his teammates, but they're getting their haircut from a football player at ASU.
It's awesome. And I think that's a great example of a young man understanding an opportunity to give back to the community that supports him in return. And to me, we could do a lot more of that. I think we have a responsibility as an athletic organization. We have a responsibility to the community that keeps supporting us year in and year out to give back. And that's one of many examples of hopefully what's to come. But this is a blast. This is an incredible environment to develop young people. The fact that we are not growing franchise valuation or stockholder value or different things like that, we're reinvesting in the young people through the work that we do. So again, everybody that's buying a ticket, that's donating to ASU, that's supporting NIL, that's involved in a corporate partnership, we're immediately reinvesting that into the 650 athletes at ASU. And there couldn't be a cooler thing, in my opinion, to be a part of. And the fact that I get paid to do this as a job is kind of an incredible thing. And I'm just proud to do it all.
I heard you say that at the Pac-12, the final Pac-12 baseball tournament for now. But are you saying that? And like obviously, like I said, in jest, I'm saying to you, it is a lot of work. Everything, and yes, it has to be, spread out and equal. But the more, and that's what I would say is, for you being an alum, and not that other people don't care, but it just means more. And I think that it means more. And I think that obviously, people say boosters, but the fan base, whether, like you said, for the person, that has the businesses donating all the way down to the person that, is going to a few games. Right. But if they don't see the energy from you up top, and again, not faking it, but the genuine, I shouldn't say energy, the genuineness and how much you care. I think just being an alum, and again, speaking to another alum, it just means more when I see an alum get hired.
Yeah, it is very personal. I'm motivated to be great at ASU. It was never about becoming an athletic director because I aspired for the title. I just wanted to be connected to something that's purposeful in my life. And I've been lucky to do that. I've been at two places. I've been at ASU. I've been at the Diamondbacks. I've got friends for life and a network that'll stay with me forever because of these two environments. But at the same time, they're two entities or organizations that I deeply care about. And I've always tried to focus on that professionally. Is it purposeful and meaningful for me? And am I able to impact others through the work that I do? And I've found that at ASU, and I hope I've never got to look at another job again.
I echo that. So, okay, Big 12 Media Day, obviously, media days. Obviously two schools make sense to do it in 2 days. But, obviously out here in Vegas, I think, and they decided this obviously before you got hired, but I was kidding around with Doug Tamaro. I said, I think they just purposely did this for the 4 new schools to make it close for us to come out and cover it, which is all good. But just your thoughts of going into the Big 12. like you said, the 26 programs. Obviously hockey is going to be in the NCHC, like you said, but just going into the Big 12 and thoughts of, I know Coach Dillingham has talked about it, Coach Bloomquist has talked about it, even Coach Adair's talked about it, Coach Hurley just mentioned it, but just going into some of these new venues And yeah, it is a bummer to see the Pac-12 gone. I'm not going to whine about it because I did it all year long, but I'm not going to whine. But going to these new venues and stuff, what's the best part about that for you, and just kind of the excitement to even more so spread the ASU brand like you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, today's been an exciting day just to be around the way that the Big 12 approaches media day. We're in Las Vegas. There's a commitment to embracing the four corner schools that are coming in, which I think is really, it's neat, it's appropriate, it's exciting all at the same time. And so, it's nice that we get the familiarity of the schools that we're going in with, but also these 12 others that we'll build these new rivalries with. And even, BYU, for example, we were once upon a time members of the WAC together. Right. And how do we rekindle these rivalries that have been, maybe through non-conference games over time, but now we're able to commit back, and it's a ton of BYU fans in the Valley. I know they're excited, and we're seeing that at ticket sales for the BYU games off the charts right at the gate. So get your tickets now. But yeah, it'll be exciting. I think there's a sense of how do we establish and build these new traditions, these new rivalries. It's a combination of some great cities that we'll go to, the Dallas area, Houston area, Salt Lake, Orlando, etc. But at the same time, some really amazing college towns that we'll get a chance to experience. And I can't wait for all of it. We need that kind of one cycle through a year in the Big 12 to really understand how incredible this could be. In reverse, I think there's a lot of schools across the country that are going to be looking at Phoenix throughout football season and basketball season, and almost year round for that matter, of saying, wherever we are, it's cold, it's winter, hey, let's go to Tempe. Let's go check out our team competing at ASU. And that's just a great chance to expose new people throughout the country of everything good that's happening at ASU. And for people that may have left campus after they graduated and come visit, you always get that comment of like, I don't even recognize this place. It's amazing what ASU is growing into. It's amazing what our impact is across the nation, across society. Well, now in this new conference, there's 90 million people in the Big 12 footprint, 16 universities across 90 million people that in large part get to learn about what ASU has grown into and what ASU is now impacting on a national level. So to me, that excites me. We're going to miss the Pac-12, and we're going to find ways to be able to maintain those rivalries through non-conference now. Having a presence in LA is really important for recruiting. But now in the Big 12, we're in Texas, we're in Florida, we're in these great pockets of recruiting talent. And now these kids in all parts of the country can watch what's happening at ASU and hopefully aspire to be a part of it.
Yeah, and because I'd asked Coach Satterfield from Cincinnati, because he mentioned the map, and he was just kind of like, wow. And my natural question was, if you're within a conference, a lot of times teams might be able to poach somebody because, like you just said, they're going to get to go home and play him. And he mentioned that too. But when you can go all across the country, literally to recruit, and like you said, be playing somebody in your conference. I mean,
every time zone, all the games are on ESPN and Fox. There's so many benefits to just, it's easy to bring the product to the masses. Yep. We want to build this incredible game day, this unbelievable brand of Sun Devil football that Coach Dillingham and his team are working at. The fact that all of our games that have been announced so far are on ESPN or FS1, that's an amazing turnaround from where we've been in recent years. And the fact that our fans, and we know there's ASU fans all over the globe at this point, it's easy for them to watch us play. And that's really important at a point where people want convenience, they're busy. You might be watching on your big screen, you might be watching on your smartphone, you might be at the stadium with us, which is a unique experience in and of itself. But I think that's one of the many benefits, and we're very much excited to be entering this new chapter for Sun Devil Athletics as a part of the Big 12.
And lastly, I want to get you hearing this again. Thank you so much for your time. Again,
thank you.
This is Graham Rossini. He's our new AD, and he's an alum, and he's taking time here on Pitchfork Lunch because, again, we have a great show and we want to go on. But Coach has talked about it, and I know, even Coach Edwards before, and obviously Coach Graham. The Tillman statue, the Tillman run, obviously, it was the 25th year, and it'd been a few years since I did it, but I pseudo jog. I do the first half, anything over 400 meters. Graham, sorry, I don't understand running it, but hey, first half, good walk. Second
More
half,
of a sprint guy.
Yes, for second half, jog down. But the Tillman statue, and like you say, coming to ASU, and I know I've heard other coaches talk about it. Being an alum, being at ASU when Pat Tillman was there, actually getting to meet him, and I've talked about it on the show before. But when you see that statue coming out, like Coach is walking by, like Coach Graham even talked about, even Coach Edwards, what does that mean to you? When you see the Tillman statue, and because especially with the Tillman run, it always gives kids a chance to be like, hey, and like you said, you have young kids, but hey, Mom, Dad, why is that statue there?
Yeah, I think that's one of the many examples of how ASU has impacted lives, and I can't think of a better representation of our university than Pat Tillman. And I never got a chance to meet him, but the Rose Bowl team that he was a part of, Jake Plummer and others, I was in high school. I fell in love with that team. That was when I was making a decision on where I'm going to go to school, and that team was front and center of it. Pat's younger brother, Kevin, was a member of the baseball team. And so, gotten to know the family and have a relationship with Kevin that's lasted 20 plus years because we shared Sun Devil baseball together. And I'll never forget, we were in Pullman, Washington, playing Washington State in baseball the morning we found out he had been killed. And we were able to quickly rally, get over to a sporting goods store, and I think Moscow, Idaho, buy every black wristband in the place and be able to immediately pay tribute to a fallen soldier, a fallen Sun Devil, and just immediately knowing that this was a significant moment for all Sun Devil fans and certainly our university. And so to have that statue, I think it symbolizes a lot of the good of ASU, a lot of the sacrifices that people are willing to make for something greater than the individual. Right. Pat represents that better than anybody I could think of. And I was really touched. The day I was announced as the athletic director was right next to the Tillman statue. And I don't know who was responsible for planning that, but I think it was a very touching and heartfelt gesture of, being in the presence of greatness, being in the presence of an incredible leader by example. I'm not trying to compare the two of us by any way, shape, or form, but I don't think there's a better example of what ASU can mean to the world than what Pat Tillman was able to sacrifice and represent for all of us. So it is a daily reminder. I get a chance to see that statue out of my office and daily reminded of his greatness, his contribution, his spirit, and knowing that lives on to this day. It's a pretty incredible connection.
Yeah, especially with the Tillman Scholars, obviously, and the Tillman Foundation, which, yes, I talk about a lot because I said
incredible.
Getting to meet him, being there, like you said, that Rose Bowl run, that 2-year stretch when they were there, and just like I said, getting to meet him, having a friend that I live with in the dorms, went to the same school as him in California.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just anytime I saw him on campus. But yeah, like when that statue went up, I'm like, that is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, beautifully done. And the fact that Coach Dillingham talked about it earlier today in his remarks of every game they're going to walk by that and understand what it means to be a Sun Devil and what it is to represent this incredible university.
Well, he's doing it now. He is our athletic director, Graham Rossini. Again, thank you so much,
obviously,
for stopping by Pitchfork Lunch here. Again, guys, like you said, get out there. You can go to the sundevils.com. Tickets for the fall, schedules for the fall sports are out. Volleyball, as Ken Coach Van Neal, I know he had to try to make a schedule. There was no out-of-conference home last year. At least there's an out-of-conference home for volleyball this year. Get out when they're at Mullet Arena. Get to Desert Financial, but get out there. And you'll see him out there because, like he just said, there's no way your kids are letting you take them to games.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll be at as many as we can. So I'll be herding cats with two little bodies all around, but we can't wait to be back in August when we start competing again.
And it's still going to be warm out, like Coach Dillingham said, but you know what? It's Sun Devil sports. It's worth it. So we're going to step aside and have more Pitchfork Lunch coming up.
All right, back here on Pitchfork Lunch. So want to thank Graham Rossini, the Sun Devil, Arizona State University's athletic director. Got to catch up with him there at Football Media Days in Las Vegas. You saw any apologies? I don't know. All I will say is technology. Rule 72, play like a champion, no excuses. I combed that interview 3 times before airing it today, and I do not know why. That was from the recording side, so apologies. I didn't catch that. Well, I didn't see that, and it didn't play like that after I played it back. So that is from the recording side, though. I figured that much out while it was happening. But again, apologies for that. But again, great conversation with Graham Rossini. Again, seen him out at soccer and football, like as obviously football fall camp up at Camp T. Volleyball. He was there the other day at the like I talked about, the maroon and gold scrimmage, which was awesome. Soccer. He was out at the women's soccer match last week. So yeah, I mean, look, it's a vision. It's onward and upward, and it's kind of jumping into a race after it's already going, and you got to get up to full speed. But yes, to have a department, to have, again, take a breath, focus, and yeah, you're going into a new conference, as are, Utah, Colorado, ASU, and that school down south. So, I mean, they're all kind of in that part together. He talked about scheduling, and again, football tickets obviously on sale, volleyball tickets, again, get on out. There's going to be games, yes, at Desert Financial Arena where the volleyball team plays, but also there will be games at Mullet Arena. Get there. Just get to as many as you can, because, look, this team went to the Sweet 16 last year. Can they get to the same point this year? Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to talk team schedules and stuff coming up tomorrow before we see the interview with Sun Devil linebackers coach AJ Cooper. So, yes, that will be coming tomorrow. But, again, so stoked for Graham Rossini. I mean, a lot there. Again, enjoyed. You can tell I was geeked out talking to him because, again, yes, an alum, but also somebody that understands and loves that understands and wants the program to succeed. So, yeah, couldn't have been any more gracious. And again, so thank you so much, Graham Rossini. Again, love running into him at events. And again, apologies for the few technical difficulties, which, you know what? But we go onward and upward, and we got all through it. So my apologies on that. But yes, for some reason that was on the recording side from when we recorded it, and it did not give me any issues then. But nonetheless, for my information, I will poke around to some smarter people and find out why. So, hey, I'm going to get out of here. Season 2, episode 1 in the books. Graham Rossini, thank you again so much. Doug Tamara for making that happen at Big 12 Media Days, helping me out there. And yeah, just stoked. Get on out to events. Obviously, it's game week, Wyoming, coming up this Saturday night at Mountain America Stadium. See, again, I'm not going to Mountain America Stadium, home of our Arizona State Sun Devils, as we know this. So yeah, there's that going on Saturday night. Get tickets. Go to thesundevils.com. If you don't have your tickets, and yes, of course, I will be there as well as other events as well. So everybody have a great rest of your Monday. I will see you tomorrow. And again, at Diablo00 on X, follow me there. Again, questions, comments, thoughts, everything. Let me know. At Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. And she's still live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. And my IG, Michael.Caratino.5. And the YouTube channel. Guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get it out to your friends. If they are unable to watch at lunchtime here, 12 to 1, Sun Devil fans, go to YouTube. And then you can go to my channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005, at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe. Again, you can catch up on last season. Again, a ton of interviews. You heard me talk about it there, talking to Coach Van Neal on the show twice. And again, we'll aim to have him back on now that the season is ramped up, new team. And, well, again, returners, but a new year, I should say. And yes, of course, some new players. So, yeah, but subscribe to the YouTube channel at MVC005 on YouTube. And again, you can catch up on anything you missed last season, not just coaches and players, but insiders, friends of the programs, awesome alum. Again, the mix is here. There is a just a plethora of awesome interviews that you missed. So nonetheless, again, have a great rest of your Monday, Pitchfork Lunchers. I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. And yes, you know it. It is a Sun Devil State. But as always, forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
27-yard line. That's a great call, too. Blank Baker, Plummer will put it up, throws over the middle. Touchdown. Quick flag.
That's a way. Trying to center off is Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down, he scored.
From behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia, they won't get him. Wow.
Edwards pulls up and buries a flag.
Shot for Darby.